So how long does it take to pass the CPA exams? The CPA exam journey is a long-term study journey. And to imagine how long it takes, I like to imagine 3 different study paths. The first one is going to be an aggressive 6 to 8 month study path. The next one is going to be a more average study path, which is about 12 to 14 months. And then a slower study path, which is about 2 years. So let's first talk about the most common study path, which is taking around 12 to 14 months for the exam. Now, this is going to allow you to study for about 2.5, 3 months for each exam, and then have 1 or 2 exams that you fail. One thing that students need to consider is the extra time involved when you do fail an exam, because then you have to actually reapply for your NTS, and then wait for that to process. And then you have to take the exam and then wait for the score from there. So this can add significant delays to your study process. You should basically consider that each time you fail the exam, it's essentially a 2-month delay in your study plan. So then if you go with this 12-month timeline, you're going to want to take each exam within 2 to 2.5 months. And that's going to give you enough time to have 2 to 3 months for 1 or 2 retakes. So then the next question is, how much should I be studying per day under this method? So you're going to want to study for at least 2 hours during the weekdays and then 4 hours on the weekends. Your goal is to get around 15 to 20 hours consistently each week. So your goal each weeknight should be to review the material from the prior night, and then to learn new material, and then practice that material with MCQs. And then from there, write down all of the reasons why you got the MCQs wrong, so that you can review those on a later day. So all throughout the week, you're learning new content, and then on Saturday and Sunday, you're reviewing the content from the week. That way, when you start Monday of next week, you understand the concept really well, and you don't have to review it for another few weeks. So then your goal with each exam should be to finish all of the material 10 to 14 days before your exam date. This allows you to be past all of the new content and to spend 1 to 2 weeks reviewing the content. This gives you time to take 1 or 2 full practice exams, and then to review all of your outlines, review all of your notes, and do plenty of MCQs and sims. So then what should you do if you want to be more aggressive with your study approach and you want to take, let's say, 6 to 8 months for your exams? In this case, you need to take only 6 weeks per each exam. And then if you pass it on the first time, you'd take 6 months. And then if you have to take, let's say, 1 more exam because you failed it, then that would take you up to about 8 months. So under this plan, you need to finish all of the content for each exam in about a month to give you 2 weeks to actually study all of the content before the exam. This is going to require 3 to 4 hours of study during the weekdays. And then on the weekends, it's going to require easily 5 hours of study. So lastly, what should you do if you want to take more than 12 to 14 months? Let's assume 1.5 to 2 years. Now, the maximum amount of time that you want to study for one individual exam is about 3 months. I wouldn't recommend extending it beyond 3 months. The reason is because 3 months is a realistic timeline if you're regularly covering content. And if you take more than 3 months, it may be demotivating to where you don't feel the pressure to actually take the exam. So take 3 months, so you take 2.5 months to learn all the content, and then 2 weeks to actually review all of the content. This is going to give you enough time to have a couple of fails and then to be able to still finish in about 1.5 to 2 years. So keep in mind that there's not one correct timeline for taking the CPA exams. It all depends on you. What is your schedule like? How motivated do you feel? So then set up a timeline that works for you. Make sure you don't take more than 3 months per exam. And then if you fail exam, just give yourself time to retake it. And then after a couple of weeks, you can jump into the retake.